Right, lower bracket finals here. Mr. versus RecoN, a rematch of Wololo and a rematch of the upper bracket yesterday. Boys, we got a draft already underway, but we got to talk a little bit about these players. Been hyping up Mr. a lot, and I know Winston in particular loves to hype up Mr. I'm going to make it his job to hype RecoN. Talk to me more about this guy and where the edge is going to come in this series.
Well, RecoN, I feel like he's got it all. I feel like he's one of those players where you think he has the complete package every time you watch him. And it just seems that case. Against every player, it seems like he's super, super strong. He just wins game after game super convincingly. He's got the micro, he's got the macro, he's got the strategies, he's got the draft. It's just Mystic kind of is his like kryptonite at this point. And I'm wondering how closely RecoN watched that series against Magic, because I think Magic just showed it's super possible, dude. You just got to play. You got to play, and hopefully RecoN can bring it, right? Because we saw that game 5 yesterday. I hope that didn't like kind of get into RecoN's mental too much. And if it didn't, oh boy, we might have another game 5 today, which that would just be so special, right?
Yep. I mean, well we just confirmed before we hopped on, right? So yesterday, boy, we had Game 5 decided by monkeys. Technically, Game 5 of that last series, Magic got the monkeys. So I think the theme for this weekend is we're going to have to keep an eye out every single map for monkeys to decide who goes through to the grand finals.
It's funny you say that because, I mean, there's more than one way to get monkeys in a game of Age of Mythology. You don't just need to pick up the relic. so someone can get some monkeys here as the set player, picking that one on Blue Lagoon.
It's an interesting way to go as well, because, I mean, this was the killing blow to RecoN yesterday in the upper bracket, right, Winston? Mr. pulled out set. He had the shifting sands play. GG, curtains close. Doesn't save it for the end of the series. It's almost like he just stuck it out there as a reminder for RecoN. Meanwhile, RecoN begins with his Loki that, based on what we saw yesterday, I think the commentators, the way they described it, I think Imain said, this is not how you play Loki. Like, this is a very weird way to play Loki, yet RecoN somehow makes it work.
Yeah, I mean, we'll see what RecoN's able to do, man. Like, I'm just excited. We got Blue Lagoon again as our opener. Yeah, and I love the way you said that. Just kind of throwing set on the table is like throwing down the gauntlet. It's like, remember last time? Boom. Remember last time when that happened and the shifting sands ended the game in like just a few minutes with the monkeys? The monkeys.
And they
So we'll
both got
see.
pretty potent drafts here, right, boy? Like, RecoN once again banning Freya. He does not want to play against that. He has made his opinions on the board, let alone everything else about this, very clear. But Mr. got a pretty solid draft. I mean, we'll get around to RecoN. Gaia seems like an obvious one, but Mr. Zeus seeming unbeatable. His Poseidon, incredible. The set timings in itself, fearful. And Kronos, in the later part of this tournament, has just been going up and up when it comes to win rates.
Well, it's actually kind of wild because we get to see a rematch, and that also gives you a little insight into the drafting process and how things change based on orders and things like that, right? So, am I wrong in saying they both banned exactly the same gods in this series, Isis and Freya? I can't 100% remember.
I think so. It was definitely Freya on one side. I can't remember if it was Isis or 4/Odin.
It was
Okay,
Isis, Freya, and Mister picks Ra straight away.
Yeah.
RecoN, he picks Loki Odin straight away, and then we had Set Poseidon. So it's exactly the same. And where it changes is that Hades Zeus for RecoN turns into Uranus Gaia, which forces Mister to change into Poseidon Zeus, and then Hades Cronus. So there's some differences here. It's not going to be the same series we saw yesterday. And I mean, when we're seeing Set versus Loki on Blue Lagoon, this is one of those matchups that I think it's a very, very challenging one, almost for both sides, but maybe more so for a certain Norse player than a certain Egyptian player. Very, very excited to see which angle Mister's going to take. We talk about where the strengths lie, and Mister loves those Wadgets. Is he going to keep on going into them, or is the map mobility with those Hursa from Loki going to be able to overpower them?
Yeah, I mean, well, I think the most memorable game we saw from RecoN, obviously it was with Force, are very different. It would have been the camping one on Ghost Lakes, Winston, yesterday, where he was against an Egyptian player. He hunkered down against the Widget all in and kind of tried to survive. But in that game, he had the benefits of a 4 that just keeps fabricating gold in his base. Loki, very different play style. I don't think there's many players that are comfortable with the idea of playing Loki defensively.
Yeah, Loki, I mean, historically, it's just been hyper aggro god, right?
Yeah.
But with the way that you can play it now, I think there's still technically options, but against Set, it's going to still be like kind of fireworks early on. You need to have a way to deal with the animals, you need to deal with potential shifting sands play, so you can't just do nothing, right? You can't just, YOLO boom per se, but Loki can do it to a degree, right? Definitely doesn't mind playing into a big classical as well, right? The bonus damage just means that if you have a big throwing axeman mass, you just melt a lot of things, right? And so we'll see what Set's able to do here. I just feel like Mista's going to be quite comfortable on Set here. I think he's also warmed up, and I bet he's a bit angry. We'll see what RecoN's feeling though at this point. I'm not
Yeah.
sure. What do you think RecoN's like feeling in his head, in his mental? Like,
Oh
surely
my
he has to feel
god, it's
confident, right?
Mister. He's my hero. Oh wow, he's
I
like the
don't think that.
best at
I
the
don't think that.
game. He'll probably in the grand final. Nah. If you read that, it does sound like RecoN to a capital R. But I
I
think
thought RecoN joined the call actually for a moment there.
right? Like I just need to
No,
mention
no.
fish and chips and pizza and I'm there. But I think the big thing for me, boy, with RecoN is, we mentioned a little bit earlier,
Mhm.
the way this to success, the way to slay the beast has been revealed, right? Because when you think about Magic's playstyle, RecoN,
Mm.
obviously different unique players in their approaches, but I would categorize them more similarly, right? Like RecoN keeps trying to tell me he doesn't want the late game, but honestly, I think we can agree after everything we saw yesterday, he wants the late game. Magic,
Yeah.
comfortable in that late game. So, if anything, you almost have to feel a bit inspired by what you just saw.
I think you're absolutely right. I mean, you could say at some point when someone says something and then they do something different, at some point you have to be like, wait a second. You know what I mean? Like, RecoN, we're talking about Loki being an offensive god. If you're going to play Loki defensively, then you know that's just the way you want to play. And like you say, Magic making that sort of play style work and to a really, really strong degree. I mean, surely RecoN's going to be able to try and go down that path as well. But, Mr. having a little bit more of a touch on that against Magic, he's going to be a little bit more in tune with maybe the ways to break that even more so, and maybe the ways not to go for 100% of this game, this series.
And I think fundamentally, from RecoN's perspective, he needs to understand that when he takes damage, there needs to be a counterattack. RecoN always been comfortable with the hunker down. Mister, on the other hand, a percentage man. He sees an opportunity, he takes it, he has the advantage. He doesn't necessarily need to press it. He can just take the map instead. This methodical, tactical approach has been what has led him to be the scariest boogeyman in the Retold scene up to date. But now that may change here. He finds himself in the lower bracket, facing elimination against his protege. Can the apprentice slay the master? Let's find out.
And it is on, ladies and gentlemen. Genesis Retold losers finals right now. You win this one, you go to the grand finals to meet Magic. You lose this one, and you're out. Spawning in the bottom of the map in the red color, playing as set. His name is TheMista. RecoN in the top of the map in the blue color. Wait, I've seemingly done this incorrectly. Bottom of the map, it's RecoN playing as Loki. At the top of the map, it is Mr. playing as set. What have I done there? My brain has stopped working. Help me, Winston.
The only thing that can help you is the monkey relic, but we'll see. The game here, tournament. Oh, we are in the second set of the day, right? And we just have a banger. We just got banger after banger. I love that it's these three players. I love that this is what we're getting right now. I just knew 3 sets of just incredible AOE. I'm literally speechless as to how excited I am. But the game is before us. Can RecoN do it? I don't know. His map, it feels pretty safe, right? He's got that back gold kind of tucked away. There's a kind of a little gap there that could be maybe exploited on the very edge of the map. So just gonna have to be careful, not assuming that's walled. But yeah, other than that, I mean, the base for Mista gonna be likewise relatively safe. These TC is really nice. I think that's a very good TC spot for both players on the left side. But I'd say the right side, Mista has a decent TC as well.
I mean, this matchup, the more we look at it, the more we watch it, the more we see it,
TCs
it
are
comes down to the finest of edges on the second gold mine at the top level. Like, you know, Egyptian, they've got a hard limit to how far in front they can get with their military advantage. It's 175 population. The Loki player, the Norse players, they take their time to get to that full population just on the fact that they don't have that production ability to get all those units out. But if you can get there, that fight becomes very, very close and very, very big scrambles start to occur. The big keys to success here for RecoN is heroic age. Don't leave your base to try and steal a gold mine. Instead, sit back and market trade to get your population out, and then find that flaming weapons timing to get that win on a big fight. You also have to figure out how to force the set player, Mista, to use that shifting sands.
Yeah, but he's going to be so patient with it, right? Unless you do something that's so obviously punishable, right?
Well,
we'll see.
this is one
magic.
thing that I think Matt. No, it was what RecoN did. I think RecoN did this already in one game against TheMista. I think it was RecoN. Could be misremembering the series, but he moved his dwarves out into a separate position to force the shifting sands over to the other gold mine. And then he just retreated back. He lost 2 dwarves for it, but he got shifting sands off the table. So there seems to be like a little bit of a thought process from Mista there that is going to be exploitable from RecoN a little bit. Sack a couple dwarves to get shifting sands off the table. Then you got the flaming weapons available to be used.
Yeah, that's as we get up into heroic, right, with Bragi. And so you're basically thinking that RecoN just wants to turtle here into heroic? Just build forces and then go for a timing in heroic, right?
There is like a little bit of an option of just catching the set player out. If a set player gets too aggressive, the early game can go the wayside of the Norse player, especially Loki. He's got that bonus damage. That's really, really strong. So there are a few sort of ways that you can go awry in the early game here for sets. You do have to be a little bit careful early game if you're playing this style that Mista loves to do.
We'll see how this pans out. Nice safe base there. Has to prep in potential for these RC to kind of get good flanks, but we'll see if it does happen.
Yeah, and we are going to be seeing. It's just like this is the thing that's so challenging, right? When you're playing against a training partner, you're playing against the person you've played the most games against. Both players know exactly what each other is going to do here. Very rare for one of these guys to be hiding a strategy that they've never tested ever. So RecoN knows that Mista's going mass wadget. He knows that that Mista is going for the barracks units here. Mista knows that RecoN here is going to be spamming out those double great hauls, trying to make a whole bunch of raiding cavalry first and foremost before dropping some longhouses a little bit later. So there's no surprises there in the early game. Things start getting out of hand at like 10 minutes, at like 15 minutes. And we see the vision coming down just to confirm.
I was curious if he would just shift his army on top of the hunt there. That could have been a surround, but it's tricky getting the timing.
Where are you going to shift it? You can go north to the tower. You can go straight through back to the town center, depending on where it comes in.
Yeah, it's really tricky, right? It's hard to get the value, but it's often why you cast it. Then gonna get spotted on the priest. But
yeah, this is really great. He's going to be able to stop not only stopping any sort of conversions going down, but also stopping the vision that's so important for Mista's playstyle. Like he almost needs the vision just so that he can be in the right position at all times. It's something that is a big weakness to these wadgets is their mobility. If you catch them out of position, it's lights out for him. But if you've got the vision everywhere, it's really, really challenging for that to actually end up happening. As Mysterio is going to spot a house, and we'll be able to take that one out. But it's going to take him a while with those actions. They got low base damage.
Yeah, you can see that house wall going to be critical with the RC now looping around the north, keeping that hunt not really usable, but Set not really going to be too bothered. So just bringing Hunt into the base rather than going out to get it. At least at this game, though.
Well, we've already got some walls trying to forward. Come up.
It's kind of a bold play, right?
Yeah, I mean, he's not going to... He might be able to finish the wall. Or at least to start the wall. If he gets onto the other side, he can probably start the wall to some degree. But raiding cavalry in the main base here for Mr. For RecoN, actually. For RecoN. As Mr. is taking a little bit of damage, but the town center is going to be there. RecoN's going to be losing a lot of HP on these raiding cavalry to trade into these packs. I don't know if this is a great play. It's a great trade here from Mr.
Oh, and he's going to catch the hearse here as well. They were building the wall, but they're going to get caught out. And all that damage is going to add up a little bit. We could see the healing spring tossed down under the TC, though. But, I mean, I don't know. Mista's building up to quite a big force. And this is where it gets scary, right? Because RecoN's response here is going to be, okay, I need to kind of group everything and take a fight head on or just hold the front of my base. And that's where you can get the really shifting sands. Once everything's grouped, that's when you shift the Wadgets on top of the gold or something crazy, right? Yeah. And just so much damage comes in that the game ends, right? But we'll see what happens.
Well, yeah, RecoN, he's built all the units he's going to build here, basically in the classical age. He's going. He wants. Well, maybe not. He's building some more raiding cavalry. I would expect him to be thinking about getting to the heroic age as fast as he possibly can. Mr. splitting his forces up. He knows how far in front he is in population right now. So he's able to split this army up without too much care. Villagers on that.
I think that village is 5. Oh, yeah, it goes down.
4 spits and he's down. 4 spits. All you got to do is connect. Got to hit that 3-pointer, you know.
And hit it that they did. And the dwarf going to get away. He's got the healing string as well to save him now. You can see this really tight base layout. RecoN knew the pressure would be coming in all around the map. And the army, though, going to get spotted. The hearse are going to be on the run. The throwing axemen are here, though, so the spearmen will have to run away. But the army is on the side. There's a couple slingers in the mix as well, so they could force down those throwing axemen. The troll on the front now just retreating back to the healing spring. It's a very important tool when you're playing the map like that. It just makes the game so much more streamlined, right? You just hold on the healing spring and things just feel so simple, right?
Well, yeah, healing spring is such a
not enough for him.
Oh, see you, troll. It's been nice knowing
you.
They
trade a priest for it though, and a gazelle.
This could be a nice little catch out for
on the south
for RecoN if he takes this fight here.
I was about to say though, that could have been a shifting sands target. A little bit of damage. Turn is going to be there, and the full army is here.
Pushing for just that little bit too much. Does take a tiny bit of damage. You're losing 2 units. You really can't afford to be losing these. But, I mean, at the moment, it's kind of looking like Mr. He's not going full pop. He's going for a heroic age.
The hunt has to be retreated as well. And, you know, RecoN, we were talking about him wanting to go up. But with what food? He's just using his goats right now, this Wadget. Helpless. Completely out of position. Not going to get spotted, though. What is the big doing?
I think there's a world where
was he waiting for a building? I'm not sure. It looks like his whole queue went idle. Maybe he was just waiting to see what he needed to do. But then it just seemed like he's doing everything. So he's adding more units and aging up now because his macro was so solid. But we'll see what happens.
Well, it's like I was having a thought there. Maybe there's an idea of going in for segment here, just on the idea that Slings of the Sun is going to boost those slingers up. He doesn't really have any of those, so going Nephthys is kind of the only real good option. He's going to be able to get that Nebty upgrade, which is going to be huge against Loki's mid unit spawns. But RecoN not paying attention here. He's running straight through. Takes a huge amount of damage on that one. Those Wadgets are getting so much of that venom. All of that damage over time. There's going to be a couple more. Is he getting it? He does kill one unit. Meanwhile, the villager raid onto that other side here.
The Pharaoh just chilling. He's just hanging out. He was having a good time.
He's attacking everywhere, Winston. He is all over RecoN at the
he
moment.
lost track
RecoN
of
now
his
is going around
units,
and take
he
a
runs
fight. What
right
is he
back in.
doing?
The TC. Oh, and this could be shifted on too. I think as soon as these RC run far enough away, Mister just shifts. He's going to shift onto the TC. Maybe he doesn't have to. He's just going up.
He can. I think he doesn't need to. I think he can. Oh, he's going
Oh,
to.
he can
There we
wait
go.
for
He
the.
stops it. There he
Oh,
goes.
there it is. Boom. Here's the units. The vills go down. The gatherers and the dwarves on the run. Not too many vills taken out, but another whole set of them are idled, and you can just see in the population. This has just been training units. Ancestors now on the table as an option. RecoN nowhere near that heroic we talked about being so important, so nowhere near the flaming weapons, and Mista just clean, calm, calculated, ends it with the shifting sands, up 1-0 in this lower bracket final.
Yeah, this was a surgical destruction of RecoN's Loki in this game. It's just such an open map, and Mister, I mean, this control of 3 different like groups of units just completely making RecoN's life a living hell in that game. That was just, I mean, that's just the way to play this. I don't know what, honestly, looking at it, I'm just like, I don't actually think there is much that RecoN really could do. I mean, you see for a moment here, RecoN's economy is looking great. That's because he's playing Norse, but as soon as things start going awry, life starts getting really, really challenging.
I
The
don't even know
Mister,
what the play is. Like, what?
I mean,
I think maybe
what's
just trying to be more aggressive. More aggressive? That doesn't even make sense. Maybe you just have to secure food a little better. I don't know.
maybe you just have to sit in your base and go heroic age and just take it.
Yeah,
Wall
but
wall your
it seems
base
like
up,
that's what
get
he
hero.
did. He did just sit
Well,
in his
no,
base.
like just don't even
Main
build that
RT.
many units. Like you
Yeah,
can't. You're not getting any value out of them. So
yeah,
there's got to be some other angle to go for. I don't know what it is.
yeah. I mean,
I mean,
RC,
maybe
right?
go in Heimdall and spamming village centers.
Something. Yeah, just something. Yeah,
Something
because
else. Just I don't know if it's a good idea or not, but I mean, what are you supposed to do?
I mean, yeah, and
Game
you were
number
talking
2.
about that too, right? Like the RC, they even got caught several times, right? So all
Yep.
of them just kind of running from spears the whole time. He was trying to do something up in the north and got distracted. Then he got caught out running several times through the middle. Um, yeah, it just seemed like he didn't really have a way to play aggro there. So yeah, I think you're totally on the money there, boy. Like I think you have to do something just a little different.
Well, like what one idea, right, is if you go Heimdall, one you spy the Pharaoh. So you send your berserk into the main base. You spy the Pharaoh. That means that you're going to see if it's going to be a town center. You're going to see if it's going to be barracks. Either way, you use undermine to deny that idea because your opponent's not going to be prepared for it. So, I mean, even if he is prepared for the barracks, they're going to go down. So you delay as much as you possibly can. And then following that, yeah, I don't know. Like, just maybe you just have to go for the big boom. And if you get enough villagers out, right? Then now we can start going farms in our main base and we can go onto the wood and we can start trading for gold. We don't have to go out onto a second gold mine for much later because we've got so much more economy than our opponent. And then finally you hit that heroic age with the flaming weapons and try and make it work. Or maybe you even go to the heroic age first with just towers and walls and just making sure your opponent can't get into your base. I mean, that's the weakness, so to speak, of the Egyptian classical fighters. You can't really break anything down. But Winston, game 1's over. We got game 2. We got something new to think about, and we are yet again seeing RecoN pulling out his Gaia, but this time he's going to be facing Mister's favorite god, Zeus.
Yeah, and on Goat Lake too. Like I'm a little worried here for RecoN just because I know how comfortable Mista is with these Greek matchups into anything, right? He's just so comfortable playing Greek in any setting. And I don't know, there's just a lot more push potential, I feel like, here, just built in with Zeus, and a lot more harass potential if he wants to go for those centaurs. I'm not sure what we'll see, but it just feels like there's lots of options here. Like Hoplite's going to be a problem, right? There's going to be a menace. Hoplite, Hippias.
Yeah.
What do you really do? You're going to have to find a way to deal with it. With Murmelo, like you're saying, like Caladria are going to be a good way to like hold the map, but it feels tricky, especially if you
Well,
lose your early oracles.
one thing
Heroes.
we have been seeing from a certain group of Aces members and a certain group of Fox members is early Hero Citizen from Gaia. And this
Yeah.
plays around early Minotaur rushes. This plays around early
Centaur.
Centaur rushes. This plays around all of the problems that Gaia is going to have in the early game against Myth units. Does RecoN do this? I don't know. I haven't seen him do it yet, but he hasn't been in a position where he needs to do it. And he does play against Mr. quite a lot. So maybe he knows, maybe he doesn't. We'll have to wait and see.
He even has a name for the build, right? It's the Untouchable or something, right? It's where you get 9 hero vills in Archaic or clicking up with the eco upgrades coming in as well on the way, and you just have an insane advantage.
Well, we've got the game coming up right now. Let's see if I can get the names right. In the left side of the map, in the red color, we've already got a bolt onto an Oracle here to kick this. There's action already. We're losing it. Mr. already bolting an Oracle. That's going to be killing the favor income of RecoN very, very early. We've got Gaia, we've got Zeus, we've got Blue, we've got Red. I said that on the wrong way, but now the other Oracle is going to start getting harassed down, and this is a very, very strong way to start here for TheMista. He's going to be able to get a lot of goats. He's going to be able to get a lot of the early game advantage here. Winston, we've already got chaos happening. Mr. is out for blood.
Yeah, no, and I think this is becoming a bit of his signature for Vista on this map. He loves Zeus on this map, and I was talking to him about this in Cordoba, specifically this play on this map with this god. He just likes to bolt opponent scouts here, and the main reason is the goats, right? Of course, you said the loss of the favor will be meaningful, and you kind of cut into that scouting information, but the main thing is this is just going to confirm and secure so many goats on Goat Lake here for Vista. I know it's called Ghost Lake. I call it Goat Lake. I don't know if it's a thing, but that's just what I call it.
I think it's a thing because you want it to be a thing. And
it's a thing if I want it to be a thing. Yeah. I live in my own reality, and I don't care what you think, boy.
No, I like it. I like Goats Lake. We can lock it in. Someone, do we have any contacts in the dev department that might be able to get a name change here? Or
I don't know anybody.
You don't know anybody.
I don't know.
All right.
But we'll see. We'll see.
One
Lots
thing
of coming in as well
one thing to note here right now is, yes, Mister's got all these goats, but
he did use Bolt.
He did use Bolt. It's 2 gold mine, Goats Lake, and there's only 4 large gold mines. So there's really not a lot of play here on this map in terms of like risks you can take. You can't be too greedy here, otherwise you're going to get gold starved. You can't be too ungreedy here in terms of tech, otherwise you're going to get timing attacked and get gold starved. So if I had to give anyone the edge in this sort of situation, like part of me wants to just lean onto the Gaia economy that's going to hit that timing attack a little bit harder. But Zeus does have Athena. Zeus does have Minotaur. Those myth units start becoming a very big problem for Atlantean, especially when you've been bolted in the early game. And it looks to me like we are seeing the hero citizens coming through here for RecoN. He's taken a later approach to this early classical or late classical age is going to be coming in. And I mean, Mr. advancing nice and quick in stock standard Mr. fashion, he's going to be looking for a little bit of damage nice and early here.
Maybe Monkey Relic on the table. Who knows? I'm just saying. Interesting.
Well,
torches.
Oh, that relic there is really good for both players. Not this one, the other one. Hecate torches. That one is insane. Hestia's Hearth as well. Very, very nice. A
lot of good ones here.
We got lions. We didn't get monkeys. I mean, it's almost as good.
Yeah, there's the torch. Yeah, we'll see how this good. I mean, we saw Mr. earlier use restoration 4 times in one game, so that's definitely going to come into play. It's really good on Zeus when you get all that favor as well. Yeah, but we'll see what the plan is here. No surprises here.
There's also, I don't know if this is really that great, but if you take off 10% of 55, it's not looking like Bolt is even usable, like in a big way, like 490-ish resources to bolt out a enemy big unit, like something that's a real big pain in your
behemoth, maybe
like a Stefalian bird or something like that. That might be actually getting worth it in a way.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I also really love the bolt here because like bolting a Caladria never feels good. Even though I think
Yeah.
we talked about this 2 weeks ago on this channel, right? It was do you ever bolt the Caladria and then it immediately happened? But here it's like I don't know, like it doesn't always feel that good. So yeah, getting that early value kind of makes sense. We're gonna see that second
RecoN
TC
is
coming in.
playing so obscenely defensive to kick this game off. He's already researched hunting equipment. Now, in the early days of Retold, hunting equipment used to give you hunting boost, which was huge for Gaia, but it doesn't anymore. It just boosts the hit points. It boosts the damage of those villages. So I mean, he's
Yeah.
built a whole bunch of hero citizen. Now he can just move out and get himself a town center, no problems. Mister
Yeah.
is respecting the Carnivora. He's got himself that Jason Minotaur on his town center here, and it looks like his scout is nowhere to be seen. So both these players just saying, no worries, we're going to go into a 2-town center game. A little bit of a handshake behind the back there to make everything okay.
Yeah, this is getting spicy. Adding in that second TC quite a bit later here, but like you said, RecoN's just been investing all in eco, all in eco. Not a lot of opportunity there. We're going to see some Murmelo. No huge surprises to match that with Bite of the Shark later if he needs to, but I don't think we're going to get Bite of the Shark here in Classical. I think this is going to be a very, yeah, I think that Murmelo even got canceled just now instead of being built. Like this is going to be a very slow-paced game as we build up, and I don't know. I just fear Mista when he's on this Zeus. Like, a lot for anybody playing against it.
Yeah. He's just got. I don't know. It's like he's just able to do more than anyone else can do, and we actually see a big problem happening right now for RecoN. He doesn't have any food income. Where is his food? He's got 2 villages idle. Both his town centers aren't building. What's going on here?
Oh, whoa. That's crazy. That's crazy. He's just
That's
got to the
crazy.
hunt. He just built the TC, so I think they were walking to the hunt. I think he's got that income sorted now. But yeah, this is a little awkward. Maybe showing a little lack of experience really executing this exact play. But I mean, it's really tricky, right? The map always changes. The TC spot always a little different in terms of distance to the hunt. So it's just those little micro differences that can make a big difference here. As the eco lead, it's probably still there for RecoN, but not by as much as you'd like, right?
No. I mean, it's always going to be an equal. It doesn't actually. It doesn't really matter. Great micro here from.
Insane micro.
I love it. Great micro. He gets the dodges. Now these turn are just going to go back up to full HP. So it's not like it matters that much. The way to counter that, so to speak, is you want to make sure your Terma are attacking at a different time. So at the very least, they might hit the. Actually, that works more for ballistics, right? Doesn't it? It doesn't really work if there's no ballistics. Great play from Mr. nonetheless.
It's great, yeah. And we have some barracks coming down, so some hoplites are going to be an option. I don't know if we make any before heroic still. I think it's just in preparation, right? I mean, maybe a few.
I mean, the benefit of playing Zeus is that you get bonus speed on those hoplites. So they do a lot better against Terma than other infantry might do because they can they can't necessarily catch up because the Terma got more speed. But if things go the right way for you, if you get a good engagement, you can get in there and catch up a little bit faster against like a kiting Terma. So it feels a lot better to build them. But why build military units if you don't need to is always kind of the question I go back to about the whole thing. If I've got no weaknesses in my position, I'm just going to go heroic age because that's just the way to go. And we see this for Mr. right now. He's gearing up. He's got the buildings up already. He's got the resources coming in. The macro is on point. Farms coming down as well. And yeah, we'll just have to wait and see. He's going Dionysus. Oh, nope, he's going Apollo. He's changed his way. He wants to make a fool out of me.
Yeah, I think he really values the passage on this map, right? Like, I've talked about this, right? Like having passage on Ghostlick is really good because the distance between the two sides is really, really high. So having that mobility advantage by being able to swap between two sides is huge. It's a huge threat. It's like shifting sands, essentially, right? But more permanent in a way. And I like what you're saying as well. Like, there's no weaknesses in this defense, right? It's like Terma, yeah, they can maybe try and come in and poke and they get healed up, but it's really hard to find meaningful damage here. Like, sure, maybe a couple vills could go down, but it's not going to be the end of the world if they do, as long as Mist is able to hold these choke points like this. And yeah, let's see.
We will indeed see. I mean, the other thing that should be happening here, but because of the early game, well, actually, RecoN's going for 3 town centers. This is
Why
kind of
not?
wild.
His opponent's
I mean,
turtling and going up.
yeah, but
He's never going to click up himself, though, right?
yeah, that's the problem I'm seeing. Like, he has to get farms down. He's got to get 800 food, plus also support 3 town centers of production. He's going to have to deal with a whole bunch of hoplites coming out. I can see this town center actually going down to a hoplite push in the next 5 minutes or so, with RecoN just maybe being full population Terma and not being able to hold anything.
Yeah, the Manticore is out, but has to play a bit safe. If he gets Caladriad, if he gets like cursed there, he has to be very careful in all those hero Terma. The unit mass isn't quite there yet for Mista, but he is building up. And like you said, in the next couple minutes, things are going to really come online. And with a lot of vills on favor, it looks like the goal is going to be more Manticores, right? And Peltus going to be the play here as well. Oh, moving forward even, that's
This is a risky play here from Mista. I mean, he's going to take a lot of damage here. Those hero Terma charging in to try and take out the Manticores. The Peltas coming through to deal with this one for the time being, but it does look like those hoplites a little bit overextended, and he's going to have to get back into his main base here.
He could turn with Resto if the fight is too long there, but you know, RecoN can just back up here, go bite, go back, heal up a bit. Interesting. That was an odd choice. I guess Mista just wanted to test the waters. He really didn't lose too much there. Lost a lot of HP on those heroes, but it could come back with the restoration like we were talking about.
Yeah, there's always the scary part. This is the scary part of playing against Apollo is your opponent can be in your main base at any point. They can just underworld into there, and that's where your economy is. So I wonder if RecoN is thinking, well, maybe I should set my farms up, get like 5 in my main town, instead of 5 on my other towns, 5 on the other one, and just spread those out around. But we are seeing Mista trying to push out yet again. He has those hoplites, the Terma, not the best there. There's the restoration. And RecoN's just going to retreat back.
Yeah, but he's fighting against really good upgrades now already, and like the Chiro Ballistas were added, and they're gonna get caught out in the middle of the map here. And now the hoplites chasing down the Terma. There's really not much of a front line, and like you were saying, like he's got a lot of food income, but he's spending a lot of food. 3 TCs pumping out citizens is just so much food being spent, and the hoplites. It's been roughly 5 minutes. Boy, your prediction might come true, like almost to the T. The hoplites are now pushing down this town center.
Hey man, I've seen some Age of Mythology in my days. Oh my god. Oh well, I mean, this is just Terma. I mean, he's gonna have to defend this in some way. I mean, the Peltas are getting some huge damage done, but if RecoN micros this, he should be able to get some revenge kills in here. The economy is still looking pretty good for RecoN. He's got his armory up, or he should have his armory up, and he should be going up to the heroic age while this is all going on. But he has to be thinking about some sort of transition away from this stuff. He's just waiting way too long to get to that next age, and now the hoplites are going to go for the gold mine.
There's not enough space at the end. It's going to be a lot of damage. Service is in as well. A lot of these upgrades. Heavy infantry still not in, but it is pretty cute. We'll see when that comes in. Looks like Mista also struggling a bit for the food, just hitting these transitions. Those vills are tanky as heck, dude, with all the upgrades. But yeah. They're just getting poked out. It's a good find.
It's really, really nice. Yeah, just one or two hoplites. You talk about all another town. What is RecoN? I mean, obviously he wants this town because he knows he can't hold down the bottom of the position. But even if he gets it up, the hoplites, you've already seen them do it once. They're just going to walk over and take it down.
Yeah, they're walking over. I was expecting almost wanted to see an underworld there just to be there faster, because now the hoplites are going to make it, but without the supporting Peltas, they might get beat down by the Chiro Ballistas, and that's a lot of frontline units now as well. He's going to have to retreat. Not able to get it. The Peltas trying to poke on the left, but it's not really going to be enough. And here's the underworld right on top of that TC going up. No shot. The hoplites get cut off. The TC has to get canceled, but that is the usage. Is that from his main base, right? Wait, where was that?
I would assume it's from his gold mine. Like this is no, maybe not.
Where was that on the left? Wow.
There it is, yeah. Yeah, this
That's
makes so
very
much sense because he
odd-looking.
wants to be able to jump from the right side to the left side to control all the gold mines and prevent RecoN
Yeah.
from leaving his base here. And the big challenge right now for RecoN is he's gone through Thea. He wants to build Contarius, but there's just so many hoplites out. And I mean, can you make some Contarius to make this work? Or do you just have to go into Arcus and something else? Maybe you get a front line of Murmillo and just add a handful, like 2 or 3 Carabalisa just to help turn the tides a little bit. But there's about to be a 4-town center Zeus Mista
We have enough for
with
another
fully upgraded units coming through.
There's enough favor for God powers here. Restoration. You can also purchase some Valiant Bird here. Like you were saying, the recast could be huge. Not opting for it at this time. He still has a lot of units down in that south corner, protecting that gold mine against nothing. The Peltis, though, now have no more front line.
No flying ball pass. It doesn't just arches rain.
Hello, everybody. There were some beep boop moments. The Discord crashed on us, but we're back in it. The game has been
More robot?
the northern TCs. This is crazy. Wait, am I
yeah,
still robot?
No, I think it's okay.
Okay, we're good. Okay, we're good. The passage has been huge here. The TCs have been going down. Mist is taking map control, hopping back. Now a big raid onto the citizens on the south side, on the north side as well, using the mobility of that passage to find damage everywhere. Oh my gosh, boy, the game is unfolding.
It's
This
just like
passage
Mister's
will go
in,
down soon.
Mister's just in a commanding position right now. This is going to be have to be some sort of miracle here for RecoN to try and figure out how to come back. And meanwhile, we see in the main base, his main base farms, his main base food economy is going to get absolutely blown up here as RecoN. He's staring down Hera, 220 population of fully upgraded heroic age Zeus units, while his economy is half idle here. He manages to kill the underworld, but at what cost?
Yeah, and Mist is doing like that. What he loves to do with these Greeks is have a lot of ills in favor and kind of keep a favor afloat, just so he's really flexible in getting to these god powers if he needs it. This town center might go down. This isn't the Age of PC, right? I don't think it is. The hoplites.
I don't think so.
Yeah, it's hoplite's going to be charging in here, but there's a big flank. The Peltis on the back. The TC might go down, but at what cost? The army going to get found. The citizen hero is going to also get another restoration. That's the third restoration. RecoN not even going to see Hera. Just going to tap out. Already up 2 games is Mista in the lower bracket finals. He wants to fight Magic again. He wants his revenge. He is on the warpath right now.
This is a little bit of a different Mista than we saw yesterday.
That we saw
This
earlier.
Mista right now, he is locked in, he is loaded, and he is furious. He is saying, RecoN, I know we're good mates, but I need to fight Magic again. I'm not letting this be. I'm not letting this be finished that easily. We're going to a game number 3 right now, and Mr. I mean, he's been 2-0 already once in this game, Winston.
Mm-hmm.
He's going to have to finish this series. He's not going to be wanting to let RecoN get a chance at a reverse sweep here.
Oh boy, I don't know, man. RecoN, it just didn't really look great for him there. I don't know. It seemed like the third TC seemed really greedy. I feel like when he had 2 TCs and a strong eco lead, he could have just looked to follow up to heroic. The third TC slowed down his heroic so much. He got a lot of citizens out, right? But not much else, right? Didn't seem to pan out.
Yeah, that third town center, it's just like, if you look at the maths of just how much it costs to build one and then when it pays itself off and how much it slows you down, it takes you about 5 minutes for you to actually like say, all right, my town center's up, I'm in front, just on the based on how much the villages cost, how much the town center costs, how much the villages actually give you resources back. If you're getting a town center up at 10 minutes into the game, your opponent's already on 2 town centers with those villages, they're going to be able to throw a lot of stuff at you really, really hard. And that's basically just how you know that there's going to be a big helpline attack coming in the next few minutes. And it's not going to be easy to defend. And the TheMista shows exactly why in that game. But we've got a game number 3. It's on Oasis. RecoN is sticking with those Atlanteans, and our Mister is going to have to face, for the second time today, I think, another Egyptian versus Atlantean matchup. He didn't have success with Set versus Magic's Kronos, but Ra versus Uranus, completely different matchup, Winston. What are the keys to success here? Can RecoN pull this one back or not?
I mean, Uranus, more Caladria, more map control. Maybe you just make more Murmillo, right? You just have more units out. I think the heavy investment into Terma didn't really pan out against heavy hoplite play, right? I mean, it kind of made sense because Mista just didn't play into it at all. He didn't make hips. He didn't make anything in classical, right? He didn't really make units until he was already clicking up to heroic. And we saw that really pan out well for him. Maybe RecoN just needs to force the issue a bit more with a more aggressive composition. Shockwave going to really enable aggressive plays here. You can add more crush damage with the you can just add more crush damage into the mix with more Murmillos. Maybe that's the game. I'm not sure though, right? Like we're gonna see Raw probably playing a decently long feudal age and feel comfortable as well. So I don't know. This game is gonna be fireworks. I think.
Yeah, I mean,
I said
there's
feudal.
honestly so many different options for Ra to take
Yeah.
this one down. Like, obviously, Mystic, he loves his Wadgets. We see him go into them all the time.
Yeah.
You've also got Sphinx.
Mm-hmm.
You've also got just going for a fast heroic. You've also got town center options. You've also got fast mythic options. You've got shifting sand shenanigans. You've got locust ideas. There's just so many different angles to take this from Ra. Uranus, on the other hand, you've already touched on it with the idea of just going Mamillo and going for Caladria and trying to apply pressure. You got those sky passages to get yourself around the map. So gold staves are going to be on the table. But is there ever a way that just with Ra being super immobile at the start and being kind of not wanting to leave his base, is there a way that you can kind of go in with Terma Promethean to kick the game off? You restrict your opponent from leaving the base, you get your oracles out, you can do a fairly competitive age up, buy 3 oracles as you're advancing, get 6 out, and then you can just go in with Terma Promethean as your comp, maybe even Terma Murmillo Promethean. Sure, there's going to be priests coming, but every priest your opponent builds means that's less gold that goes into other units for you to then push in and get a gold staff.
Yeah, and with Uranus, it makes a lot of sense, right? With Prometheans, even you get Valor, right? You have a lot of options to deal with the Wadgets then, because you have heroized Terma potentially on the field. Maybe we saw hero ballistas, just 1 or 2 Kyra ballistas, being very solid against Wadget Priest earlier. We saw Mista struggle against that even. So maybe something kind of similar. Obviously, this won't be Kronos, but you could maybe get something to work. Not sure. I mean,
there's one other thing, right?
I think, regardless.
There's one other thing to touch on, which is depending on what sort of Oasis spawn we get.
Right.
We already saw that there's this commitment from Mista and a lot of other Egyptian players into going barracks units early, into opening at that early, getting their obelisks up to check out town centers. A village center, while a little bit weaker than the town center, is still really good, and you can just get that. You can just get that completely free and safe.
Yeah, it makes sense. I haven't seen a lot of village centers being used in these tournament games though, and I think it makes a lot of sense to try it, but it just feels like such a big risk, right?
Yeah, it's an interesting. I mean,
it's an option, right?
It's just an option. Like if you don't feel like you can get your settlement up because you know what your opponent's going to do, you metagame it a little bit. And with Ra, not going to be able to spot it because what can you do? You've got those obelisks, you've got all those other good things.
We'll see.
So it's going to. I mean, but all that being said, I don't even think you need to do it. Like I said, I think you can go Prometheus. I think you can go Oceanus. I think you can do kind of any angle here from both sides and create a completely different game. It all comes down to map spawn and honestly just player preference to a degree.
There's no world where we see Bast here, right?
It's the bar the
I don't think it
isn't
works
it
well
isn't
against
it
Caladria.
mostly just like it's that the Bast is almost like a meta game on your opponent going Prometheus.
Right, because
Because
you don't do it against Caladria, right? Because they just get
yeah.
hunted, right? But I don't. Yeah, I mean, if Uranus goes, that's a good point. It's a meta.
There's
It's
one
a big
there's one
brain.
idea where you go Bast. If your opponent goes Oceanus, then you go for a fast Mythic Age, and then you don't and you get some other stuff. I'm not saying it's good, but
There's a lot of options.
there's just
There's ways
ideas.
to
I'm just
play,
here
and
throwing
then there's
ideas
good
now.
ways
But
to
we've
play.
got
And
this game going to be coming very, very shortly, ladies and gentlemen. The mystery is on game point. RecoN fighting for his tournament life right now. We're going to get it going in the left side of the map in the blue color. Boarding in as Ra. His name is TheMista. His opponent in the red color playing as Oranos. His name is RecoN.
yeah, and we got that open 4/4 spawn, kind of an iconic spawn of Myth's Oasis compared to all the other games in the franchise, right? It's really interesting that it can spawn this way, and it's always so fun to watch, especially with the middle being. In this game, there's like no resources, very little value there, but it's still just this passage right through the center. You have to wall it. The walls feel really weak sometimes, especially in classical, unless you get the upgrades. It's just like super easy to break down. So we'll see what's going to happen. Nice setup here.
It's interesting you say that. It's one of my favorite things about Age of Mythology maps. It's not just Oasis that does this sort of thing where it's like you can have this spawn, you can have this spawn, and you can have this. You also see this on like maps like Alfheim, watering hole changes around a bunch. It's really, really fun because it means that the players, they have to adapt. You can't just go into every map and go, I know what the map is, and then I make my strategy before the game and we're all good. You got to have the options there available to yourself and be thinking on your feet to some degree. All that to be said, the gold mine here for Mista is looking a little spicy. He does have a forest there. He does have the tower there. But if he doesn't protect it nicely, RecoN may be able to put some pressure on that nice and early.
Yeah, I mean, he's going to build the temple pretty far forward here. And there's even a tree kind of really annoyingly block like the center of the temple location where you'd like to place it. So you're going to have to place it on one side or the other. It's just going to feel a little awkward. We might even see him place it further back then just to keep it safe. I'm not sure what the game plan is going to be. But you definitely want something to protect that gold. Let's see though. A little bit of sheep dancing.
Yeah, Mr. is very, very mad about this one. I can tell. Like this is so annoying. Wait, he's gonna give them back. No. Those goats are now mine. RecoN gonna have to herd them all the way back home here, not wanting to give them over to Mr. at any point. Every little bit of goat shenanigans here is really important. It's funny, like we don't, in Age of Empires 2, I don't know if this happens in tournament or not, but you see a lot of the times people kind of steal a goat and they give it back. Does that ever happen? It's like you just want to have you're being fair about it all.
It's weird. It happens every now and then. It makes sense. It's because like you just want a good game, right? But I don't think that really happens often in tournaments unless it's almost viewed as a little BM to do it in a tournament. Like, oh, I'm so confident or something. It doesn't happen much in S tiers. And like a qualifier at lower level, it does every now and then, but not a lot.
That's the way we're going for.
It happens a lot
BM
on
in
the ladder.
tournament.
Oh man. Let's see though. RecoN missed that. I mean, I'm just always so excited to watch these two play each other. This time around, it seems. I'm wondering about RecoN's mental here because we saw previously he was able to get to game 5, but the way that these two games went just feels a little different, right?
Yeah.
It felt really like Mista was just in so much control. But we'll see. We'll see. You never know.
We are seeing Prometheus here.
Yeah.
So
no
it's Prometheus versus
counterplay, no big brain, but a bit right.
We haven't really seen the extra oracles getting built though. That's the one thing that I'm a little bit like, if you're going to be going Prometheus, you need more favor because you've got all that Valor cost that's really expensive. The Prometheans, they're not expensive, but you're going to be wanting to build a lot of them. And you can look at the resources right now for RecoN. It looks like he's going for a town center.
That does seem to be the plan. That TC kind of sucks, though. That's definitely a settlement where I don't think you want to go for it, to be honest. It feels more like a trap. Like, it doesn't secure anything. And it's so far from the main.
There's a shifting. There's already good. Like Mister's already shifting Sansing on this. He sees it with the obelisk. This is he's moving back into his base. He knows exactly what RecoN's doing here. He could even shifting Sans villages forward here if he really wants to get even more value, because it's like once that town center gets past half cost, that's 300 resources gone.
Mm-hmm. He's waiting. I think he's gonna go with this next Wadget. So he's gonna have 3. Now, there is the option to heroize the citizen that's building, but he's already done it, so he doesn't have the burst heal as an option. Here's the Sifting Sands. It's in. The goat's even showing up. The shockwave comes in, but actually the TC's... Hold up. The TC's pretty far along.
It's pretty far along, but it doesn't really matter. We got the Promethean coming in to bash those Wadgets back, and now that town center is not going up, and RecoN is like, hang on.
No. This is like game 5 of the last series. Oh no! We're just missing the monkeys for it to be poetic, but the Termas are on the field. The Wadgets have to respect that one of them is a hero. A couple Spearmen are going to be pulled to burst down the TC, deal that damage. That's so meaningful. The Priest coming forward for the heals as well, also to deal with those Prometheans. The Prometheans really do get wrecked by the Wadget. The Vills, though, are coming forward. Gonna get stopped here. Are they the citizen?
He's got a Valor.
The Valor comes in. The TC might almost be complete.
It's got to be very, very close.
It's going to be super close. It might even finish.
Give us the timer. 1 second. There we go. He gets it up. But that's a lot of damage. That's a lot of damage that came through. As a 2 citizen kills or something, the Spearman coming in to get even more value here. If you take a look at the economy of RecoN, he's barely got enough to afford villager production at the moment. And like you said, there's no food here. There's no food on that town center. There's no resources on that town center. It's a terrible town center.
The citizens have to run like through the army to get to a resource, right? Like they're just going to spawn and idle. Now they are going to be able to walk home as the Terma citizens, the Terma heroes, sorry, are able to kind of build up their mass and force the Wadgets back with the kiting. But I mean, doing all that poke damage, it feels nice momentarily, but I mean, Egypt can just heal it up, at least on the important units here.
Yeah, and I guess now the question is for Mister, what does he do? Do you go for a town center? It looks like you go for a town center. Why he got the value on the early attack. This is just basically the Mister playbook at a very basic level. It's early pressure, prevent the town center if you can, but get damage done, and then get your town center up such that Mister's got himself all the food economy, he's got all the map control, he's got everything that he wants here to make this work at the best way possible.
Yeah, and even having those little obelisks on the south, spotting out all that juicy hunt down there, like we talked about at the start, right? Like this right side of the map is really barren for RecoN, right? You need something like more tangible. Termas finding their way into danger.
This is great positioning, in all honesty, from TheMista. I absolutely love that. He just leaves the Wadgets out in front, but I mean, one thing you can do to kind of counter that positioning is to run your hero Terma in first and the other Terma in a separate control group behind it to get that value in, as Mister here is going to be getting poked and prodded by those Terma now. It is a frustrating experience to play against the Terma, but Mister is zoning them out right now. Those Wadgets are coming through. There's a lot of hero Terma in though at the moment.
Some slingers, though, now in the mix as well. I'm going to force some reactions, some good dodges there. Mista predicting which units are going to get shot out. Some more Valors coming in. Oh, boy, the damage really starting to add up. He's Terma, though.
This micro is so good from RecoN. He just got in and he picked off 2 or 3 slingers there, and then he gets out and he gets another Spearman kill. He's got to be careful when he turns here. That's one very low HP Terma on that in that army at the moment, and you kind of know that RecoN at the moment, he's got to be thinking about the next Age already. He probably could have a lot more units out if he wasn't, but he's charging forward and trying to pick off those low HP Wadgets here.
Where'd the Spearman just go? He's
They
going
go
to
for the town center.
RecoN very greedily going for that third TC, but the Wadgets and the Slinger is going to be enough here to deal with the Terma. Only a couple heroes left, but the Spearmen do make their way back. The Citizens fully retreating from that town center, and it could just go down to these few units, and really interesting situation.
I mean, I'm not sure what we're seeing here because now Mr. denying this town center again. This is again another third town center play here from RecoN. He loses the town center. He gets the resources back. It's not a big deal. There wasn't a whole lot of HP on the town center anyways. Yep. But what is RecoN's plan here?
Try and find.
He's got to be thinking about Heroic Age, right? I mean, both players have to be thinking about Heroic Age at the moment. Mystery's got a ton of gold in the bank. Looks like a farm transition starting up here.
He's running the Vills at the Turbo, just daring them to fight. But the RV is coming to reinforce. Not a lot of value to be found here with just so few units. And it is going to be, it looks like right now, I would say that it looked like RecoN had a faster age up, but he's got 2 TCs and not a lot on food. So I think RecoN will not have the faster age up in the end. Electrum Bullets coming in. So still invested in, kind of capping out this classical army. Instead of not trying to get caught off guard, gonna even go for his own third TC. That's interesting.
I mean, he's already got the 500 gold in the bank for the Heroic Age, so all he has to do is click Rain, and he's going to be able to get that food through. RecoN, one thing here that RecoN is missing, in all honesty, is just that one or two Paraballister. Not a whole heap, but just enough to make those Spearmen scared to run forward.
See, the Spearmen, though, are going to start getting poked down. Many of them are quite low, so the Terma are going to force them back here. The Wadgets have to run as well, but I think Mister's okay with just keeping these Terma mass in the base, right?
Yeah. We lose so many units to the Terma just running forward, and you have to also remember that, sure, you're playing against Ra. Ra's economy can get pretty big pretty quickly with those rains. Careful where you're going to be running with those Terma there. He snipes down one of those Wadgets almost quite there. Has to pull back.
Yeah, it's really interesting. They're just going to be going back and forth. Rain is now cast, and the TC on the north, Mista getting pretty greedy, going for a 4th TC. But the Citizens getting pulled, and now some army getting pulled up there as well to deal with this. A 4th TC is a ballsy play here.
I mean, but also, if Mista just moves up there, he can get a gold staff starting. Those Terma, they're good at a long exchange, but when your opponent has got a position to just take it, it turns on its head here. Population advantage is significantly in favor of the Mista at the moment, and he is heading up there. He doesn't have Shifting Sands available, doesn't have the favor, but those Terma are charging up here to help support. And Hyperion is clicked through, though. This could be scary for the Mista. He's got to stop making Wadgets and get himself going. We see a tower getting shot up here to give a little bit of garrison ideas. No sky passages for RecoN just yet in this game. It's like he's forgotten that those exist.
Shockwave. A lot of units could go down here. The Terma trying to deal the damage as quickly as possible, but just not really adding up. There's enough Slingers here. So many Terma going down. The 2 towers did go up on the gold mine. The TC going to go up on the back of this, but we are going to see a lot of Slingers grouping up here. Chaos could be devastating.
I don't know if it's going to be 0 gold mine, 4 town staring down the gun of 4 town centers, devastating. It's going to be a lot of damage. Don't get me wrong, but Rain comes through. And now the food economy, Mystery's got himself 31 villages on food. I don't know if he's got 31 farms up or not, but he's got 31 villages on food. This Rain is insane at the moment. Are you kidding me? That food is just shot up
and now
from
he's
0 to 700.
That's crazy. Yeah, that was fast. Even queuing up more vills on the back of that. But yeah, he's gonna be vill pack, dude. Chaos on the Slingers. There's only a few units in there, so it's gonna be pretty quick. The Wadgets as well, dealing a lot of poison damage to each other. The Terma weren't able to join in on that fight, so they weren't able to really capitalize on the immobilization of Chaos there. And I think you're right, not enough value there to really see it through. The citizens hop out of the tower, desperate for a little bit of gold. They're trying to make some money, but I don't think it's going to be enough. I mean, maybe. Oh, no.
Now, Mr. is 4 town centers. He's going up Sobek. RecoN is mining a gold mine in front of Mr.'s 4th town center. There is 175 of 220 population, and RecoN has got very, very little going for him at the moment.
With his economy, Mystic could just skip Heroic altogether and go straight into Mythic.
Yeah, and the safe play here is to drop a Migdol Stronghold, go Osiris, and just sit there with that Son of Osiris, just launching bombs at a civilization that really, really struggles against him.
Mm-hmm. That might be it. Wow, Migdol gonna come in nearly immediately. And there's Locust as well on the farming eco. Yeah, he's gonna just take out these farms so quickly too.
Locust is so good. This god power has always been actually kind of strong situationally, but oftentimes people go for the YOLO play and Mr. just says, give me the value, I'm going to kill off your farms. That's a lot of damage done.
Dying, but like the farms going down is huge. Look at that, 5 on food, 49 food in the bank. RecoN, what can he do now? He can't afford anything. It's crazy. Crazy. This seems really tricky. Even some Merc calves coming in. Magic getting a lot of value out of those earlier in the day. Just gonna raid with them. And here is Osiris. SOO gonna be on this front line shortly. Could be seeing some siege maybe soon for Mista. Catapult potentially on the as an option. Spearman still waiting and keeping RecoN just pinned into his main here. This is so tricky. Even some camels on the field now. Not a lot of favor generation, so we're not going to quickly see certain techs here.
Yeah, I mean, this is just a waiting game now for Mr. He's clicked up through Osiris. He's getting all his techs. He's getting fortified town centers. He's got 100 villages. He can put a market in the top corner and start a trade route if he wants to. There's some civilizations that can play from a 2 versus 4 town center disadvantage. Maybe Uranus is one of them with those sky passages, but you need economy to really make it work. Yes, RecoN's at 100 villages right now, but he doesn't have his economic upgrades, really. And he's playing against Ra, who's just going to be an economic powerhouse to the nth degree in the late game.
Yeah, once Fortified TC comes in, that population difference is just going to get ginormous. And you can see that's that population at work right there. Right, that is that pop lead denying a whole gold, and you see the armies here are still even. The citizens going to get called, the destroyers leading the charge, taking a lot of arrow fire, the Terma going in, the defenses on the way.
The villager Ragnarok joining in right now. Those Arcus on this position do outrange those slingers ever so slightly. RecoN knows he needs to take this position down, but those slingers now getting huge damage done. The send in the boys, he says, as I mean, he's taking up on those slingers in a big way. The mid units on the back getting some serious damage done. Son of Osiris coming down, but still alive.
GG.
And that's the game.
GG. Oh my gosh, not even getting to see a single bolt there from the SOO. RecoN, though, in a moment of desperation, pulls the boys and goes down in a convincing 3-0 from Mista. Mista on the warpath, ready for the rematch against Magic. History in the making. Will Magic win another set point? What are your thoughts?
Well, I mean, we're getting a rematch. This is what we wanted in a way. I mean, we wanted RecoN as well to perform, but Mr. here, he has shown up in his own rematch to a degree. So he's locked in. He's got the games played. He's played that series impeccably. And, well, I think we're going to be going to KP here for a little bit of a breakdown.
Turns out, boys, the Padawan still has some things to learn from the Master. An absolute polar opposite of the series we saw yesterday. And, we got to dissect this a little bit, talk about what we've seen here, because, we talked about the way being shown, Winston, right, in the upper bracket with what Magic done, his execution, something that maybe we thought RecoN would be more comfortable with. It seemed like he didn't even get a chance to get off the starting line. Mr. was relentlessly aggressive throughout this.
This was reminiscent of Mista in the Red Bull tournament, right? Not reminiscent of what we just saw, Mista versus Magic, which I think is really a testament to Magic right now. I think Mista's playing on peak form and Magic is just matching it, right? And I'm excited by that. And like you said, Magic may have showed the way, but RecoN couldn't follow here. He tried some stuff, but it just seemed like Mista was getting away with doing whatever he wanted. Just he spotted everything. He knew exactly what RecoN was going to do, shifting sands right at the right time, everywhere. And it just seemed like RecoN really didn't have answers. He just didn't have answers.
I mean,
Like,
I think it went wrong in that first game, really, because I was sitting there thinking about it, actually. And boy, like, Set versus Loki, I sat there and I went, there is not a harder matchup where you just can't hide any info from each other, right? Like, the amount
Yeah.
of information in the early game, impossible to get, like, a leg up, a cheeky trick. And I think maybe that done RecoN a disservice in that obviously he scrims with Mr. a lot. Everything he tries, everything experiments he would have seen before. It's almost like the moment your opening plays are revealed, Mr. is on it like a car bonnet.
Yeah, the one thing with the Mister is everything you show him, he reacts to. So there is some worlds where you show him one thing, and we actually kind of saw this in this first series with Kronos versus Set, where you show him one thing and then he sets up to deny it, and then you pull back and you play around it, right? So yeah, that Loki versus Set game here, it's just not possible to even do that because the vision is just so insanely good. And yeah, and once Mister gets going in that matchup, you just see how insane his control was. 3 different control groups, raiding everywhere on the map, impossible to keep up with. I don't even know what you do in RecoN's position there. That was a tough start to the series for sure.
yeah.
A suffocating series, I think it's fair to say. The way that Mr. plays, we talked about it going into this. He's a guy that likes to come running off of the starting line. He likes to take control of the game straight away, and he likes to get that small upside that he can scale, whether it's through more aggression or greed. He's just so quick to react. And RecoN, commiserations, bud, but no shame in it, right? Mister, seen as the dragon to slay here, he came very close yesterday. Unfortunately, not able to match up today. Whether that's draft, whether that's execution, is for them to dissect.